If you were asked if you'd like to travel in time, you probably wouldn't hesitate to say yes. How cool would it be to visit ancient Egypt or hang out with dinosaurs? But what if I told you that you already are a time traveler? Seriously, right now as you watch this, you're cruising through time at the steady, familiar pace of 1 second per second. But what if you could press fast forward? What if you could leap years, decades, or even centuries into the future, while you've only aged a few months? This isn't some sci-fi fantasy. This is a real, proven consequence of the universe we live in. We literally have a recipe for one-way trips to the future, but the question that really gets us, the one that truly captivates our imagination, remains just out of reach. If we can go forward, why can't we go back? Why can't we undo a mistake, or see history with our own eyes? It seems the universe slams the door shut on anyone trying to buy a return ticket. And the reason isn't about our technology. It's woven into the fundamental rules of reality itself. To get a handle on time travel, we first need to get a handle on time itself. And for that, we have to thank one of the greatest minds in history, Albert Einstein. Before Einstein, we all thought time was absolute. A second was a second for everyone, everywhere, a cosmic clock that never wavered. But in 1905, with his theory of special relativity, Einstein blew that idea out of the water. He showed us that space and time aren't separate. They're stitched together into a four-dimensional fabric called spacetime. And here's the kicker. This fabric can be stretched and warped. Your movement through space directly affects your movement through time. The faster you zip through space, the slower you travel through time compared to someone just standing still. It's an idea so wild it sounds like it was ripped straight from a novel. 10 years later, Einstein doubled down with his theory of general relativity, throwing gravity into the mix. He proved that massive objects like planets and stars don't just sit in spacetime, they bend it. This gravitational warping also slows down time. The stronger the gravity, the slower the clock ticks. These two theories aren't just abstract thoughts, they are the keys that unlock forward time travel. They tell us that time is not a rigid metronome, but more like a river that can flow at different speeds for different people. And if you know what you're doing, you can change the speed of your personal river. So how do we actually take a leap into the future? The physics gives us two main options: go incredibly fast, or get cozy with something incredibly massive. Both of these methods rely on a wild phenomenon called time dilation. First up, speed. Special relativity tells us that as you get closer to the speed of light, time for you slows down to a crawl compared to a person on Earth. The effect is tiny at everyday speeds, but once you really get going, it becomes dramatic. This brings us to the famous twin paradox. Imagine one twin stays on Earth, while the other hops on a spaceship and travels to a distant star at 99.9% the speed of light. For the traveling twin, the journey might feel like just a couple of years, but when they return to Earth, they'll find that decades have passed. Their sibling will be an old person while they've barely aged. The astronaut twin has effectively jumped into Earth's future, and this isn't just a thought experiment, it's a measured reality. Astronauts on the International Space Station, whipping around Earth at over 17,000 miles per hour, experience time just a little bit slower than we do. After a 6-month mission, they come back a few milliseconds younger than they would have been. They've traveled into the future, even if it's just by a hair. In fact, GPS satellites have to constantly adjust their clocks to account for this. Otherwise, your map app would be useless in minutes. The second method is gravity. General relativity shows that the stronger the gravity, the more it slows time down. This has been proven, too. A clock at sea level ticks ever so slightly slower than a clock on a mountaintop where gravity is a tiny bit weaker. To turn this into real-time travel, you'd need something with mind-crushing gravity, like a black hole. If you could orbit a black hole just outside its event horizon, the point of no return time for you would slow to a crawl compared to the rest of the universe. You could circle this cosmic monster for what feels like a few hours, then fly back home to find that thousands of years have gone by. So traveling to the future is a built-in feature of our universe. All you need is a ridiculously fast ship or a conveniently placed black hole. It's a one-way ticket, but the trip is absolutely possible according to the laws of physics. It's mind-bending to realize the future is a place you can actually go. But while the physics for moving forward is solid, the path backward is a whole different story. Now let's talk about why the past is a forbidden zone. To understand why reversing time is such a headache, we need to talk about one of the pillars of our reality: cause and effect. Cause comes before effect. You pour the coffee, then you drink it. The seed is planted, then the tree grows. This forward march of cause and effect is the logical backbone of our universe. Past tense time travel threatens to snap that backbone in half, creating logical nightmares called paradoxes. The most famous of these is the grandfather paradox. You know the one. You build a time machine, Go back to when your grandfather was a young man, and, well, you get rid of him. If you succeed, your parent is never born, which means you are never born. But if you were never born, you couldn't have gone back in time to do the deed in the first place. It's an impossible self-canceling loop that physics just won't allow. This isn't just a philosophical brain teaser, it seems to be a hard-coded rule of the cosmos. The legendary physicist Stephen Hawking was so sure of this that he proposed the chronology protection conjecture. He humorously suggested that the universe has something like a chronology protection agency that works to prevent paradoxes and make the universe safe for historians. This idea suggests that the laws of physics themselves will conspire to stop you from traveling back in time. Even if you tried to get rid of your grandfather, something would stop you. Your weapon would jam. You'd slip on a banana peel. A passing car would distract you. According to this principle, the universe would ensure its own timeline stays consistent. Your very presence in the past would become part of the history that was always meant to happen, making it impossible for you to ever truly change it. That unbreakable chain of cause and effect is the brick wall standing between us and yesterday. Now physicists are a clever bunch, and they've looked for theoretical loopholes that might let us sneak into the past. The most famous of these are wormholes. Theoretically, a wormhole is a tunnel through spacetime, a shortcut connecting to different places. But could it also connect to different times? Maybe if you could take one end of a wormhole and accelerate it to near light speed. Time dilation would make that end younger than the other. Step into the old end, and you could pop out of the young end, arriving in the past. But there's always a catch, isn't there? First, we have zero evidence that wormholes are real. They're purely hypothetical. Second, to keep a wormhole from instantly collapsing, you'd need something called exotic matter, which has bizarre properties like negative energy. We've never seen the stuff, let alone figured out how to create it. And even if you solved all that, you'd still run smack into the grandfather paradox. Some physicists believe that the moment you tried to use a wormhole as a time machine, a feedback loop of energy would build up and destroy it, which neatly supports Hawking's chronology protection idea. Other ideas, like hypothetical faster-than-light particles, called tachyons, have been thrown around, but they're pure speculation and would also break causality. The bottom line is that every clever path to the past we can imagine is either blocked by impossible technology, requires physics we haven't discovered, or just dissolves into a paradox. So where does that leave us? The path forward is surprisingly clear. Time travel to the future isn't a question of if, but a question of when we can build the technology to take advantage of the rules Einstein gave us. The future is an open road, just waiting for us to get there. The past, however, is a different country. It's a land guarded by the unbending laws of logic.